The grey man does whatever a grey man can. Can he make a comic feed? Yes, he can. He just did. Watch now. A video from Grey Man. A video from Grey Man.
Gather round, Grey Maniacs. It's time for another one of my videos. Yes, I'm going through box 38. And this is my Blue Beetle collection. All my Blue Beetles. Starting off with a lovely birthday card that Zlata, Matilda Gothica, sent me for one of my birthdays. There's my man Ted Cord, one of my faves. Because when I first started collecting comic books, like seriously, when I actually had money to buy them seriously, the Blue Beetle run was the first run that I collected from the very first issue to the very last issue, kind of thing. Right, let's show you what I've got. Well, I'd like to get more of these, to be honest. This is the old Dan Garrett Blue Beetle. I'm not too sure. There's not too many of these ones, but they're not cheap. So they're not like super on the top of my list. But I'd like to get the rest of these at some point. The numbering's quite weird on these Charlton books. This says number 53, but it's not. There wasn't 53 in this run at all. There's only about 10 or 7 or something weird like that. I like the praying mantis man then. That's good fun. Right, this is a recent acquisition which I'm rather proud to own. It's the first appearance of the Blue Beetle. It's in the Captain Atom number 83, it looks like. Be prepared for unexpected startling events when you witness the defeats of Captain Atom, plus the all-new adventures of the all-new Blue Beetle. And we find out how he took over from Dan Garrett. It's quite an unusual first issue because he gets knocked out. He's only got like about 6 pages and he managed to get knocked out in like about a third page or something. I think it was knockout gas. But I think it was kind of to show off his suit. So he knocked him out. They tried to take off his suit, his face mask, but he has to use his glove. He's got like components in his glove. He pushes a button. There's like electrical charge to undo his suit. So it was like kind of like an origin sort of plus show what his costume does kind of thing. And so it's kind of like a bit of an untoward start to get knocked out in your very first going into action. Right, then he had his own run for a very short time, which I'm pretty pleased to have all those as well. There's the first appearance of the Question. So this one's probably going for a bit more than it used to. It wasn't cheap when I bought it. It wasn't super cheap when I bought it, but it's not the greatest condition. I haven't got a great condition one. I go low grade because money, basically. Money. That's it. I don't need a high. I don't even care particularly about high grade books. I just want to have a copy of the book. I want to be able to read it. I want to be able to look at it whenever I feel the need. You know, just to open up my books and go, oh yeah, here's my comic. I like these guys, the Madmen. They appeared a few times in later issues. I thought the Madmen were pretty cool. It's a shame they didn't get used by other in other comics. Actually, I thought the Madmen were cool, good villains. Just a bunch of acrobats in suits, but because there's quite a few of them, they were quite a burden. I don't see why other they don't face against other heroes. I think they'd be cool. Right, and this is the last one of the Charlton run of Blue Beetle. There's not a massive amount of them, so they're not cheap though. I think I paid about at least 30 quid for each one, I think. So if you look at that, it's 5 of them. It's about £150 worth of comic books there, probably. No, I think some of them were cheaper than that, but yeah, they're not super cheap. And that first one is probably, because of the first appearance of the Question, it's probably a lot more expensive than when I bought it. I bought it a few years ago now. Right, and this is the bit when it comes to DC. This is the DC run. This is when I don't know what made me pick it up. I can't even remember what I picked, but I think that's a really good opening cover for me. He's like swinging down from below the bug. You got the bug behind him. You got him coming down with his gun out. The angles look cool. The perspective looks great. Looking up at the city, I think that's really cool. And then you got this one. He's facing up against Fire Fist. That's a really cool action shot. Really, you can sort of you can almost sense the burning ear there. It's like youch. Right, and then he faces up against the Madmen again in this one. All good fun. I love their garish costumes. And then we have Dr. Alchemy, who originally was a Flash villain for Amazon Way. I know he appeared in the pages of the Flash quite a lot, but I don't think this is the original Dr. Alchemy, because Dr. was it Al Desmond? Was that Dr. Alchemy, and then he became? I don't think it was Al Desmond. I can't remember now. Is Al Desmond the? I think it is Al Desmond, but I can't remember if this is the Al Desmond or someone else who took over the Philosopher's Stone. My memory thinks it's somebody else who took over the Philosopher's Stone after Al Desmond, who was. I'm not gonna look. I can't remember now, because he was Dr. Alchemy and he was Mr. Element, and he kind of like went good, but whether that's stuck or not, I'm not too sure. But I kind of figure that was a different. Dr. Alchemy, the second Dr. Alchemy, but I could be wrong. For some reason, Al Desmond makes me think he was Al Desmond, but I need to reread them again. I have read them I've probably read these about 3 times over the course of owning them. And here was the appearance of the Question. I thought the Question looked really cool when I saw him in this comic. I was really impressed. I hadn't seen him previously. I didn't really know the Charlton books, so I was like, yeah, he just looks cool, and it's a pretty good story as well. It's a gang war story. There they are facing Question and Blue Beetle facing off against quite a few gangs there. You've seen him all your life, but you've never really known him until now. It's a weird concept cover. I'm not sure who it's referring to. Who have you seen all your life, but you don't know them until now? I'm not too sure that's meant to be talking about. Right, and this was during the Legends crossover, when I think it was a character called G. Gordon Godfrey, who was using some kind of super hyper charisma to turn the world against superheroes. It turned out it was a pawn of Darkseid. Right, this is another, and this is an Atom villain, Kronos, mostly faced off against the Atom. It's kind of cool that the Blue Beetle got to face against other people's villains as well, rather than having all his own villains created. But I just do think that some of these villains, like for example the Mad Men and maybe that Fire Fist, could be reused. You know, I think they're pretty cool characters. Havoc is the Hybrid. I'm not sure if these were used elsewhere. I kind of got a feeling they're somehow tied into Bialia or something like that. I'm not too sure. Can't remember now. That was to do with Prometheum. Prometheum was like a super metal that was created. I think Ted Cord Industries has something to do with the transporting the Prometheum or something. And so these guys were coming after the Prometheum. Side by side with the new Teen Titans against the power of the Hybrid. Cool crossover. Right, Prometheus Unbound. The new, so the Prometheum that was stolen somehow gets merged into this guy. It becomes Prometheum. Right, and then Return to Pago Island. It's quite a good cover. Not too sure about his grimace, but I quite like the Blue Beetle facing off, gun drawn. His gun, of course, had no fatal mode. It was either a flashlight, not a flashlight, like a strobe beam, like a super intense flash to blind enemies, or it did like a propulsion, like air blast to knock enemies back. That was the right. So Pago Island is where the original Blue Beetle was killed in a fight against Ted Cord's uncle, I believe, who was like a madman who created all these robots who was going to take over the world. The Blue Beetle and Ted were sort of kidnapped by him. He managed to destroy the island, but in the destruction, Dan Garrett, the original Blue Beetle, got killed. But he made, as he was dying, he made Ted promise to carry on his legacy. But unfortunately, there was a scarab, which I think they have to say the magic word. Is it Kajé Da, something like that, and it would give him the strength for the powers, that kind of thing. But for some reason, I think it was retconned later on, because it doesn't really get explained in this series, I don't think. Later on it's retconned, and it said that either he didn't get the chance to tell him the magic word, or it didn't work for him. I think originally he died before he said the magic word. Then later on, when in the subsequent Blue Beetles, it was like, oh, he knew the magic word, but for some reason it didn't work for him. And then in the run after this, after they decided to kill off Ted Cord, the bastards, it was suddenly decided that it was no longer was it a magic key, it was actually an alien artifact, and it was only this, they only thought it was magic, which I thought was a kind of okay. Seems like too cliche somehow. Oh, it wasn't a magical artifact, it was actually an alien artifact all this time. Oh, aliens. Right, this was a guy called Overthrow. I'm not sure if it was used ever in any other stories. Right, and then for some reason the original Blue Beetle comes back to fight Ted Cord. Can't remember what the storyline was there. Right. Right, he was fighting no help, no escape, and against Catalyst, no chance. This Catalyst was a guy who was able to create chemical reactions with his hands, so he could touch you, and he could whatever chemical he decided to call up, he would like he could have acid touch, or it was normally like more pharmaceutical, so he could drug you, like knock you out with like some kind of, I don't know, knockout drug, or poison you, that kind of thing. Right, then we got the Millennium crossover, and it turns out Overthrow is back, and it turns out that Overthrow all this time was actually the Manhunter assigned to deal with Blue Beetle, and he's got Mr. Miracle here as well. You and Mr. Miracle have finished, Beetle. No man escapes Overthrow. Looks like Len Wein's doing all the stories on most of these. Always go down well with a Len Wein story. He never does any crap ones that I remember. And we've got a million years in the past, the Beetle fights for his life. Kronos finds it quite amusing. So Kronos returns. He's a good villain. He's got a garish costume, but I like Kronos as a villain. He's cool. Never really explains much about what he's I mean, when you think of his powers, his scientific breakthroughs to be able to go through time, why is he committing crimes? It's like he should be a billionaire from his discoveries. Right, then this one, he's being plagued by the madmen. And then number 24, so just a 2-year run, the final adventure. That's quite a moody rooftop kind of scene there. I've said it a few times on my channel, but because when I was a kid, I used to just buy my comic books from the local store, like shop around the corner kind of thing. Didn't buy a great deal because I didn't have much pocket money. But when I first started, so every time I go to the shop, Batman was always there, Flash was always there, Green Lantern was always there, Spider-Man was always there. So in my head, I never realised that comic books ended. And I just thought they went on forever because there was always the same ones there. And when it was announced, oh, Blue Beetle, this is the final issue, I was like, what? What do you mean final issue? Why? What's going on? Is the world about to end? I didn't know what was going on. I was like genuinely like surprised. And I remember it. I was like, I couldn't get my head around it. Why they stopped it? I don't understand. Right, I've got the Secret Origins star in Blue Beetle. This is Secret Origins number 2. Well, I've got a few Secret Origins, but they're not all in together. They're all in whatever the character they're referring to is mainly, as much as possible anyway. So Secret Origins number 2. Right, I don't have the book in this one where he dies, where Blue Beetle dies. It's in one of my other boxes actually. I'm not sure if we're to dig it out and stick it in this box, or just keep Blue Beetle alive in this box maybe, and leave that other one where it's probably in the JLA box probably somewhere. Right, then we go to the new Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes. I know a lot of people get annoyed when their characters that they like are replaced. But, yeah, it kind of slightly annoys me, but at the same respect, I try to give the new characters the time of day. I don't do a knee-jerk, oh, I'm not going to like that because it's the character I used to like who's now somebody else. I don't go with that. I give them their, I like, because they're still good guys, they're still heroes, they're still, fighting the good fight against crime, and I can get behind that. I'm still sad that it's not the Ted Cord that I knew and loved, the Blue Beetle that I knew and loved. It's a completely different character, completely different powers, because somehow the artifact is now working strangely. It didn't even need the blinking a magic word to just. I think it was stored in the Rock of Ages. So when the Rock of Ages was destroyed by Spectre, who had gone mad, I believe. Somehow the scarab just flew away and attached itself to Jaime Reyes' spine. Okay. Never did that before, I don't think, but okay. Whatever. Yeah. And then he suddenly became a completely different Blue Beetle to what the original Blue Beetle became. But, you know, this is comic books. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. There you go. Easy, brain, easy. Don't overthink things. Just accept. Accept. Go with the flow. It's a new imagination. It's a new, completely different and not seen before imagination of the character. It's quite a cool character. I mean, he's got like his suit can practically do anything. Almost, like it forms itself to create different weaponry and so forth. And the suit, because originally the scarab is one of many that's sent out by an alien race called the Reach, and they're actually kind of like forerunners of invasion. The scarab attaches itself to somebody, and it's supposed to override their own minds. But for some reason, either the scarab is defective or Jaime Reyes' mind is too strong, but it's not able to subjugate his will and turn him into a weapon for the Reach to help subjugate the mankind. Instead, he's able to use the power against the Reach. Yeah, fair enough. It's a pretty cool story. Feels a little bit, I don't know, derivative or something, as if maybe it's been done before, but I can't think of examples. But I kind of get the feel that the story feels like something like similar would have gone on previously, I'm sure. But I can't think off the top of my head. Right, Judgment and Jury. This looks like the Spectre, the Bok. No, I'm always getting his name mixed up. I can't remember his name again now. The cop. This is the guy who took over after Hal Jordan came back to life, because Hal Jordan was Spectre for a while. Normally I can remember his name, but I can't remember his name. I keep thinking Bok for some reason. I don't know why. It always goes to my head, and it's like, no, it's not that. Why do I keep thinking that? But it's not. But it's always what comes into my head. I don't think maybe it's something to do with book, because I think he had a thing where he used to like reading books. The cop who becomes Spectre. At the moment, my brain is not going there. My brain is not remembering his name. I'm going to be sitting here quietly now, trying to remember it. Right, this is a throwback to Ted Cole. Right in Hell, Reach. When Ted Cole was about to get killed by Max. Brain's gone again. Oh, man. Anyway, I can't remember. When Max is going to kill him, he says, "Right in hell, Max," before he gets killed. So that's a throwback to that. My brain is really not in the game today. I can't believe I can't remember the name of Max from Justice League. He was in the Wonder Woman movie recently that I've not seen yet either. Damn, he's a really well-known character. That's doing my head in. I can't remember that one. Oh. My brain's probably got a backup. I'm still trying to remember the name of the Spectre. You can't remember. For some reason I keep thinking Max Waller, but it's not Max Waller, because it's Amanda Waller, so I have no idea why Max. Oh, don't tell me. I'll probably remember it in 5 hours' time. It's all good. You haven't got to write it in the comments. It will come back to me eventually, probably. Brain, why are you my enemy? Interesting enough covers. It's been a while since I've read this, but I mean, it's come out in 2008, so it's been 13 years since I read it. It wasn't a bad run from what I recall. Quite a long run, actually. It's a lot longer than the Ted Cole one did, which is a disappointment. He was teaming up with Our Man. No, sorry, Dr. Midnight. Sorry, not Our Man. It's Dr. Midnight. Peter Martins, is it? Is it Peter Martins? The name of that iteration of the It was something McNider, the original one, I think. James McNider. I'm sure that was the original one. And then there was it Beth Chapel, the second Dr. Midnight? I'll let you guys look it up and tell me if I'm right. Right. I've still got Max. Brain. Alright. Showdown. Maxwell Lord. Maxwell Lord. Right, that's one out. That's one remembered. Make way for the Kadra. That's how I pronounce it anyway. Kadra. And then finally the end. Number 36. One slight thing that didn't perplex me, I won't say perplexed, but kind of like, it wasn't really irritate, it was just something I noticed. Because he was like a young kid, a lot of the talk between the friends was like kind of like slang kind of thing, and there was quite a lot of Spanish words thrown in, that so it kind of like, I don't know, I wouldn't say it took me out of it, but it was just, I noticed it, put it that way. It's just like, what does this mean? A little bit. The mixture of like you know, street slang, I suppose, from where they were, El Paso they were from. So maybe there was like a few words in there, a few phrases in there that I didn't quite grasp. I seem to recall. Right, and then this is the new 52 Blue Beetle run. Right, this is not far off from where I quit buying comics for financial space, and also wasn't enjoying them as much as I used to. Didn't think that they had the for what they were, for the enjoyment I was getting out of them. I didn't think they were worth the money. Put it that way. That's why I stopped collecting in 2013. Probably a bit of depression as well, and definitely money wise, because I had various. Money wasn't good. It's still not good. In fact, it's probably worse now than it was then. But anyway. Yeah, but I stopped collecting in 2013. But then I started again in 2018. So 5 years off is not as much as some people take a lot more time off than that, I think. This is just a mark on the bag, ignore that. This is Mr. Bones. He was originally from the Infinity Inc., I believe. He was originally Infinity Inc., and he sort of became like a government operative after that, like in charge of like a covert kind of superhero related, kind of akin to Amanda Waller. It was like another branch, similar, like a sister branch or brother branch, whatever you want to call it, of government superhero relations kind of thing. Blood Beetle is back, and he's going to bleed this world dry. Right, then I did a 0. Right, 13. I might have to check to see how long this run went for, actually, because there's a couple of New 52 runs that I got a lot, quite a way into, and I think there's only about 4 or 5 after that I never got. So it's like, maybe I should try adding to my list to complete that run, if you know what I mean. But I'm not going to go into the rebirth. I'm not going to go, sticking to old comics. So this is the very, very last Blue Beetle from the New 52, number 16 that I got. This is March 2013. That's when I quit buying new comics. The only other thing in this box, so there are some more in the box, I'll show you next video, but the last Blue Beetle related one, I've got this Convergence number one. I'm waiting for number two. Number two is on my list to pick up whenever I see it. So number two of the Convergence Blue Beetle story. I like this one because it was a good story, and it was like the Charlton universe. This was a world where the Charlton universe was still going. So you got the old school looking Captain Atom. You got the Question, of course, and you've got Blue Beetle. I don't know if Judo Master and Peacemaker and Nightshade show up in it. I don't recall, but they were the other kind of Charlton characters, weren't they? And Son of Vulcan as well. I believe was a Charlton one. Right, so that's it. That's the Blue Beetles from my box number 38. Cheers for watching. See how I can make it so his head looks the same size as mine. if I can get the perspective right, so it looks like I've got my arm around him. no, it looks so stupid. What am I doing? Anyway, cheers for watching. Please leave a comment down below if you'll be so kind. And do you like my little hat? Look, I've got a little hat. Look. Oh no, it's the pointy head. Oh no, it's the same on the shelf behind me. Anyway, until next time, have a great amazing day, and may all your news be good news. Have a great amazing day. I'll have a great amazing day. Have a great amazing day. I hope you have a great amazing day.